bit more about you, what you do?
Sustainability consultant, although I prefer to call myself a sustainability provocateur. Towards the end of my career, the most exciting part of my career, I think, gives me that license to poke and provoke. The first part of my career was working with major contracting as a site engineer, as a site agent, as a project manager. And then project managing large 20, 30, 40 million pound projects, which was good fun. But I found really challenging in trying to get the collaborative and sustainability and the environmental aspects within that. Remember, this was back in the 80s, early 90s. So I moved into business improvement and was able to make more change to the industry that I could influence. And then from business improvement, moved into the wonderful things of total quality management and collaborative working and all the wonderful things in the industry. Around 2001, I left mainstream employment and took the plunge and set up my own consultancy, Fair Snape, which is the name of a hill, which is a fantastic day like today. I can just see it out of the window here. It's the hill in the background. Now helping lots of organisations, wonderful organisations, which are pushing the agenda. So pushing the agenda on sustainability, but also on BREEAM, on collaborative working, general business improvement, quality management, innovations, digital, that whole improvement aspect of the industry, which I'm thoroughly enjoying.
Very exciting, yeah.
At the moment, I'm very much connected to things like the Living Building Challenge. This is just opening up a whole new avenue of sustainability around connectivity with nature, and that our design should be connected. We see our buildings and ourselves as a part of nature rather than being a part from nature. And that brings in wonderful things like healthy buildings, biophilia, and other topics like salutogenesis, which is really focusing on keeping people healthy and focusing on things which make people well, rather than just focusing on what makes people sick and trying to reduce that all the time. Living Building Challenge started on the west coast of America, probably about 10, 12 years ago. Really didn't want to be in competition with the existing LEED or BREEAM, but just start to ask the question, what does good look like? And how can we move towards what we define as good? Living Building Challenge is a breath of fresh air when you compare it to the LEED and the BREEAM. And unlike those two standards, there's no points, there's no merits, there's 20 imperatives, and they're absolutes, that they're must-haves. It takes its philosophy, I guess, from nature and as a plant. So it looks as buildings as a flower, as a plant. So they only use the water that falls on it. They clean the water, which goes to the ground, generate more energy from solar, no combustion. So they generate all the energy they need and more. Very much rooted in its place. They use the metaphor of a flower. So the Living Building Challenge is divided into 7 petals. I introduce it as being profoundly simple, but profoundly difficult to achieve. So the imperative around energy is generate 105% of the energy the building needs. What I do like about the Living Building Challenge, and I mentioned collaboration earlier, is the fact you will not get the certification until you've proven your design intent for a continuous 12 months after completion of the building.
Okay.
So the building has to go into operation phase, and then you prove the design intent. And that's on energy, water, and air quality.
But that's quite key because the traditional LEED, BREEAM, etc. don't have that. So you certify at design stage, you certify at post-construction stage, and then you forget about it. That means that often there is a performance gap. So
exactly. And the two powerful things there are there's no performance gap. So clients are getting what they ordered. On energy, you have to demonstrate that net positive energy over a 12 months period. And the same with water. On air quality, you have to meet the standard thresholds, etc. The other powerful thing is collaboration. I mean, we can have the most wonderful design, most wonderful construction, but we won't get certification unless the building's managed in the philosophy of the challenge. That means people have to work together. It means you have to bring the FM and the construction guys into construction. Otherwise, you're not going to achieve that.
I heard some criticism around water in the Living Building Challenge in terms of it's really quite tough to to survive only on rainwater and whatever, you know, the building can get from, you know, natural means, let's put it that way.
It is one of the tough elements of the challenge. And in our major cities, Manchester, London, etc., the existing sewer system, the existing water system is creaking. Having a water strategy is incredibly important. If we can get to the water system functioning post-construction as it did pre-construction, so we've got the ecological water flow still intact, the challenge requires to use or to harvest water, to use that water as necessary, but to clean that water before it goes back into the ground, into the aquifer, which is really sort of borrowing from ecology. Yeah, that's what nature does. It cleans water to go back into the aquifer for other plants to take from. In the UK, we've run into one or two problems with local authorities who are a bit hesitant about enabling water to be taken back for drinking water in particular. Yeah, we have one Living Building Challenge project in the UK at the moment. It finished construction last year and we're just about to go into that 12-month proving period. The building is a wonderful project. It's in Lancashire, where I'm based. A timber frame building, straw bale. A lot of the timber was harvested on site within the country park. Straw bale is pretty local. So mainly the project was built by volunteers.
That's amazing, because that also has the community element to it. You know,
it is, exactly. It's a visitor centre for a local country park. So there's a cafe, there's classrooms and offices, and has some really nice, wonderful things. One of the things around the LBC is the prohibition of red list materials. The project in Lancashire, Kern Valley, has zero cement and zero concrete.
Even in the foundations then?
Exactly. Everybody asks about the foundations. The foundations effectively use tyres, so reclaimed tyres.
Oh, wow.
Round stone, and then the timber posts or holding down posts in the stone.
So it does require your brain to work quite hard to find innovative solutions and sort of detach yourself from what you've known so far.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, one of the requirements of LBC is to use waste products back into the building. So that's a great way of doing it.
That's some sort of circular economy.
You raise a good point, Virginia, that by saying we cannot use PVC, by saying we cannot use whichever chemical, whichever product, enables people to innovate and come up with different solutions. MDF equivalents made from potato starches, waste food starch being used as glues instead of formaldehyde. This whole sustainability should be a life philosophy. You know, we cannot create a sustainable building and then allow people to plug in energy guzzling photocopiers or bring in furniture which is going off gas formaldehyde, or sell dubious food in the canteen, plastic water bottle vending machines. Yeah, it has to be the whole thing.
Is it possible to have something like this in an urban environment?
And around the world, it has happened in urban environments. The flagship of LBC is the Bullitt Centre in Seattle.
Okay.
It's a 6-story commercial building with tenants. Will it become mainstream? As a certification scheme, but probably not. So I think what we will see is the LEEDs and the BREEAMs encompassing bits and pieces of things like Living Building Challenge, as they are with WELL at the moment. Within the Living Building Challenge sort of fraternity, there are a number of associated programs, and I think they will become much more mainstream. In particular, Declare, which is a materials declaration. So a manufacturing company can get a Declare status, which is effectively declaring what your product does, where it's come from, what's in it, and where it goes at the end of its life. Speaking to a lot of specifiers and architects, they really struggle to find materials which would meet the red list.
LBC, you know, for the little I know of it, actually going to the heart of the problem. So what is the main issue? Energy. So let's go full on into it, not just, you know, marginal improvements. And I think that's the appeal of it.
Yeah, we don't have time to just keep reducing. Yeah, how do we get fun back into sustainability? Things like LBC and biophilia, salutogenesis, that leading edge of sustainability is where the fun is.
What would you suggest to someone that just started, and obviously they come into the profession because of passion? What do you do to actually keep that fire on?
Connect with people. I'm a big user of social media for that reason. It connects me to lots of people. Again, back to Living Building Challenge, we have 2 or 3 collaboratives in the UK of like-minded people who just come together and say, okay, what does all this mean? How can we apply it in our business?
If you like what you just saw, you can go to thegreengorilla.co.uk for more ideas, more resources, more videos, and of course the Green Gorilla courses.